All right, what's going on, guys? We're back. Boy, do we have a treat for you today. I'm here with Ted and Donnie as usual, but we've got Mr. Paul Linn joining us today. What's going on, Paul? How you feeling today?
Thanks for having me. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good, feeling good. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to toss around a couple questions. We'll probably get one or two off a piece, and then we'll let Paul head up for tonight. I kind of want to start in. Maybe could you touch on your origin a bit, like how you got started in the sport? And then also, if I'm correct, I think you kind of started a little bit later in life. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were over the age of 30.
Yeah,
Maybe
35.
maybe you could kind of touch on, what it's like starting at a later age, what you think guys who start later in life kind of should focus on versus a guy who's, in his younger 20s or so.
So as far as origin goes, basically that's the reason why I got into arm wrestling because there aren't a whole lot of sports left that are pseudo physical or, require strength that at the age of 35 you can really do at a high level. And I heard about it, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm always good at arm wrestling, and something else to train for. So to be honest with you, like if I'm being 100% honest, do you want to get into arm wrestling at 35? No. If I had the choice to get into arm wrestling when I was 16, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. But the reality of it is, when focuses are on other things and other sports when you're young, and you don't have exposure like some folks might have in Eastern European bloc, arm wrestling, to me, it was such a blessing to stumble onto it. But with that being said, it is the most age-friendly sport out there, aside from maybe golf. And I'm not ready to golf yet. So, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, there's aches and pains and there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. And obviously it's a young man's game in one essence, in the fact that you're not going to have, the aches and pains to the extent that we're going to have them when we're older. However, there's plenty of guys out there like John Brzenk and Mr. Todd Zilla, who I think is older than John, and Mr. Ron Bath, and many, many others who are super competitive at a very, very high level, way beyond my age. So in reality, I mean, technically, I guess you could say it is an older man's sport too.
Right.
Ted,
you want to take the next one, Ted?
Yeah, sure. Paul, how you doing? I'm an amateur. I've only been pulling for about 6 months. So, and I'm 42. So nice. There you go. We just touched on the age thing.
There we go.
But I love it. Like you said, there isn't too many age-friendly sports out there, especially that I'm big into, like what Devin says, it's a combative sport. I've been in combative sports my entire life. So this is kind of beautiful. But what I wanted to ask you, and obviously you feel that you're going to win against the GOAT, he's the greatest, right? So you took the match, you feel like you're going to win. I want to know if you're not giving away too much, because I don't want to give away your strategies or anything like that. But, where do you feel like he's going to be the biggest threat to you? And how do you feel? What are your highways to win? What are your avenues to win?
Well, first off, I don't necessarily think I'm going to win. So okay. Like from a betting man's perspective and from an odds maker's perspective, if I'm looking at it black and white with no gray areas, I'm not saying I think I'm going to win. What I'm saying is I'm going to train to win. I'm going to show up to win with the intention of doing everything in my power to turn up to a level that will allow me an opportunity, an avenue, or a lane to perform well enough to potentially win. I'm not going to run out here and sell my block and say, hey, all my warm market friends, bet on me, and then hate me later on if it doesn't turn out the right way. Because I believe that there should be odds in this match. I believe I should be a 3-1 dog. If I'm a 3-1 dog, I might go to my buddy and say, hey, you might be able to make 30 off your 10. But in this juncture, I don't necessarily look at, a match against the greatest arm wrestler of all time and say, I think I'm going to win. What I do say is I am training to win, and I am approaching this to win. As far as lanes and avenues, are there any? Like the guy has a massively huge hand. Yeah. He has arguably the best pronation of all time, along with containment, and then an arm that matches Todd Hutchings. So where's the avenue? I don't know, but I know that there's several that I'm going to train to try. Like I'm not coming in this one trick pony and saying, hey, I'm going to hit him with a bolt of lightning like Travis Bajent and hope that I can hit that bolt of lightning 3 times in a row. I feel as though I need to have options, and I feel as though I need to take advantage of the fact that I am younger and I need to be just stronger. Like I have to be stronger. So I have to get stronger. I think I was in a pretty good strength level coming into this match.
Mhm.
And now the reason why we're doing this podcast at 8:00 is because I'm spending the better part of my life training to be stronger. So it's before football, it's after football,
Right.
and it's in the garage as well as far as the arm wrestling table. So I'm just trying to cover all bases and have as many options as I can. And after the match, I'll tell you which one was the best.
Fair enough. Fair. No, I like that answer, man. That was a good answer. Fair enough.
Yes, sir. Paul, I'm Donnie, man. I'm 9 months into the sport, dude. Since I've started arm wrestling, you've been one of my absolute favorite, not only because you're from Pennsylvania, but I love your style. And I wanted to read you a quote and tell me if this doesn't every time I watch you arm wrestle, it describes you to the fullest. And this might hit, I hope this hits home with you. You can't defeat me. It's going to be a dog fight. Just sitting there thinking about how you're going to take on John. There's a guy named by the name Eric Thomas. Ring a bell to you?
Oh, yes, sir. That's
Yeah.
my guy.
Yes, sir. The hip hop preacher.
Yes, sir.
So, like when you were just saying, I think is it safe to say that you like being the underdog, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's several ways to look at that, though. So you can look at the underdog as an easy scapegoat. So if you lose, well, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I was the underdog anyway. I wasn't supposed to win.
Yes.
I like being the underdog. Like, when we relate this to football and coaching and everything else, it's always good to be the underdog. We are selling ourselves as underdogs to the kids, even if we're the favorites, because a favorite is not hungry. The underdog is hungry. So the idea is to be chasing. Hungry dogs run faster. So if you're chasing somebody because you're hungry, you likely are going to have a little bit more motivation. So for me, playing that role is a good mindset, and not for the sake of being able to say, well, if I lost that match, now I have an excuse. No, not that, but the idea of chasing that next peg or whatever the case may be. Not to mention that this match is like, something popped up here. Okay.
Oh no, it's good.
Okay. Now, not to mention that this match is like a career highlight. You know what I mean? And like a couple of people asked, well, are you really going to be happy if you beat a 57-year-old John? I said, I'm going to be happy because I won a match against a guy that I believe is better than me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or has achieved more. So it's not necessarily a career defining moment, but it would, win or lose, it's a career highlight at all times. And it's an honor just to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
another notch in that belt.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's another experience. I mean, what if I end my career out and I never get to grab John's right arm? I know it at least at a bare minimum. I know I get to feel that.
Absolutely. Awesome, man.
Yeah, and Donnie, I've been watching your career, man. I know you reached out early when you first got started. I remember all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been watching the Facebook posts and I've been watching some stuff, man. And congrats on where you're at, man. I you had some life changes going here. Didn't you just get married or something?
Yes, sir. Hey, but dude, you're blowing my mind right now. Stop. Yeah. I just got married on the 25th of June. It's been amazing, man. I couldn't have asked for a better partner and supporter. I know you're a family man. You have a big supportive wife as well, and I couldn't have made the gains and gotten to where I am now as quick as I am without her. I mean,
I see your videos and she's screaming for you louder than ever. You know what I mean? You're blessed. You're blessed, man.
Yeah, dude, that's my queen, man. I love it, dude. I really appreciate it for real. And like I said, as a Pennsylvania native and a Paul Linns fan, that means the world to me, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Thank you. I just love the positive energy. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So real quick, Paul, I think it'd be an understatement to say that the performance at the Dave Patton Classic was stellar. Like you did, phenomenal. What leading up to that, was the training kind of the same thing, only harder, or did you switch it up? Or kind of what preparation did you have going into that?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I wasn't there to pull. I was there to ref.
You weren't pulling at the Dave Patton Classic?
I pulled then because I was just like, oh, ROTN and Travis is like, oh, there's a light 242. I weighed 216 and the class was light. There was only a couple people in it. And they were like, is anybody else in 242? I said, throw me in. So, I mean, I was training, but it was nothing. I wasn't training for that. Like it's just my mundane training.
Just casual.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
the man
I train
came
hard
in cold.
I train hard all the time. Like I never really, so like my training doesn't like, I'm usually a 2-a-day type guy. If I can get it in, as long as my life will let it.
Yes,
if I can't do it, it might be 2-a-days twice a week and then regular lift. But like, if I'm training for something specific, I make it 2-a-days, or I make it specific to what I'm training for or what I need. That wasn't something I wasn't planning on pulling that day.
Would you say you incorporated the 2-a-days? Did you keep that from the football days?
Not really, but I you know why I did it? Because I can't, the volume I have to do with arm wrestling and then still traditional strength training, because I still do my normal like core split. Like I still like the bench, you know, and deadlift. I like to do all that stuff. Yeah. I don't want to neglect that because I feel like it does help. I don't think you have to do it, but I think that it helps me and it also helps my psyche. So now basically the way I split my workout up, I need double the time. So I can superset to be more efficient, but then I just like, I'll like lose weight sweating because I'm never stopping. So what I'm doing in preparation is I'll split the stuff up, like maybe go with the core lifts and, you know, certain core arm wrestling stuffs, and I'll save the auxiliary stuff and the auxiliary arm wrestling for a shorter workout. And it benefits me more. And if I'm doing a double day for somebody specific, or like I'm doing double days for somebody specific, I'll tailor that second portion to the areas I think I need to improve for that match.
I got you. Awesome. Ted, you got another one?
Yeah, I didn't know if Nick was done, but
yeah, I'm good.
You good? Okay. So, I mean, you know, with me, I always like picking people's brains as far as, you know, how do you feel the sport has grown, you know, since you've started pulling? Where do you see it in the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever? And, you know, what would you say? I think this is the biggest thing that a lot of people don't ask. What is it that you would say to anybody new just starting out? What is your advice, being somebody that, you know, has reached elite in 2 different sports now in their lives?
So give me that one again at the end. Once I'm going to focus on the first person and then repeat that one to me. So you said about, you know, where do you think the growth has gone? Where did it come from? Where, you know, that's a double-edged sword. Okay. Because when I came into this sport, I was, you know, when you're new, you're super gung ho. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm totally addicted. It's awesome. And I want other people to know. Yeah. And you want to see the sport spread and grow. And when I first got in, there were a lot of quote unquote purist arm wrestlers who had an idea or an ideal of what arm wrestling should be. And that it should be, you know, it was just a set of ideas that the way arm wrestling was, and it's not broke, so let's not fix it type thing. So we have nationals, everyone shows up. It's a mega tournament. We don't have a bunch of small tournaments. We don't want to have a whole lot of weird hype and stuff like that. So there's part of me that sees the points that those group of people are making. At the time, I was like wholeheartedly against it. I thought more is more. We need more tournaments. We need more opportunities. We need more amateur pullers. We need more novice pullers. We need kids. We need women. We need to get them all and have as many tournaments as we can. I don't care if they're small, just spread it. But now, as things after COVID, we have that right now, at least where I'm at. Like last weekend at the Bash of Baltimore, whatever, Battle of Baltimore, where I was at, we had like, I don't know, 100 entries, but come to find out there was like 6 other tournaments on the same day. Wow. So I understand what folks are saying. What if we just got all 400 together on that day? Would that be better? Maybe. Yeah. But the flip side is we know that there's growth because every one of those tournaments had decent turnouts. And in the past, when I first started, it wouldn't be like that. Right. One of those tournaments would have flopped and there would have been 10 people to show up. So I think we're kind of past that. And we've also entered into like the world of social media famous people. People have negative stuff to say about that. In my opinion, it's huge. I mean, we have to, as arm wrestlers who we know the sport, we're living and breathing it. We know that Larry Wheels can't beat the guy who took third at